The November 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Bay City City Commission will come to order. The city clerk will give the invocation, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. Will the clerk please call the rolls?
Commissioner Cubitt.
Here.
Coakley.
Here.
Tenney.
Here.
Zanotti.
Here.
DeWitt.
Here.
Rumberg.
Here.
Charlebois.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
Mr. Mayor.
Present. We have a quorum. First business is we have some presentations. I don't think we have anybody from the lung cancer group here, but I'm just going to read the proclamation just in case. Somebody reached out to me about the concern about we have a lung cancer prevalence in our community. So I'm just going to read this. And whereas lung cancer is a leading cause of cancer death among men and women in the United States and Michigan, accounting for more deaths than colon cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer combined. And whereas according to the Centers of Disease Control, there were 532 new lung cancer cases between 2017 and 2021, and 345 deaths due to lung cancer between 2018 and 2022 in Bay County. Whereas the 5-year survival rate for localized lung cancer is 60%, yet only 24% of lung cancers are diagnosed at this stage. And whereas screening for lung cancer for high-risk individuals using low-dose computed tomography can lead to earlier detection of lung cancer and save lives. And whereas funding for lung cancer research trails far behind funding for research of many other cancers, and additional research is needed in early diagnosis, screening, and treatment for lung cancer, as well as cancers, and additional research is needed for early diagnosis, screening, and treatment for lung cancer, as well as in lung cancer affecting women and lung cancer health disparities. And whereas lung cancer incidence is decreasing twice as fast in men as it is in women, each year more women die from lung cancer than breast cancer. And by 2035, more women will die from lung cancer than men. And whereas African Americans have the highest lung cancer incidence and mortality of all races, and disparities in lung cancer screening, diagnosis, treatment, and mortality are well characterized among African Americans and other racial minorities. And whereas lung cancer in individuals who have never smoked is the 7th leading cause of cancer-related deaths and accounts for 17,000 to 26,000 deaths in the U.S. every year. And whereas the stigma surrounding lung cancer creates barriers of early diagnosis, treatment, and funding for research, has detrimental impact on the quality of life of people diagnosed with lung cancer, and hinders awareness of and research into lung cancer risk factors other than smoking. And whereas lung cancer research is leading to breakthroughs in the identification of genetic alterations associated with lung cancer and in the development of lung cancer treatments, including immunotherapies and targeted therapies. And whereas organizations working in Bay City, such as the American Lung Cancer Screening Initiative, are committed to educating about lung cancer and lung cancer screening and the work to increase lung cancer screening rates in Michigan. Now, therefore, I, Christopher R. Gerard, Mayor of the City of Bay City, do proclaim this month, November 2025, as Lung Cancer Awareness Month. So do go out and get lung cancer. Actually, my grandmother passed away from lung cancer years ago. And then I do have a second one, Family Court Awareness Month. So whereas the mission of Family Court Awareness Month is to highlight the need to prioritize child safety in family court, as 1 in 3 families in Michigan are exposed to domestic abuse, and whereas an estimated 58,000 children in the U.S. are ordered into unsupervised contact with abusive parents each year, resulting in almost 1,000 children in the United States murdered during visitation with an abusive parent since 2008. In Michigan, 39 children have been murdered by a parent since 2008 during divorce or custody disputes, including 6-year-old Rowan Morley Poles of Caledonia, Michigan in 2024, and 3-year-old Dylan Thiebel of Kent County in 2021. Whereas Warren's and Dylan's families have been working to increase awareness of child safety issues by promoting Family Court Awareness Month, have been honoring their children's legacy by introducing legislation to improve the safety of missing children in Michigan and helping improve Kent County's response to domestic violence. Rowan's Act was introduced in the Michigan House of Representatives this year by Angela Rigas, who represents portions of Allegan, Kent, and Berry counties. This amendment will allow a faster response to Amber Alerts to be issued if police believe a missing child is in danger. Kent County, Michigan recognized the need for a specialized domestic violence court, followed 6 domestic violence-related homicides within 3 months in 2021. This court, staffed by individuals knowledgeable about the intricacies of domestic violence, aims to support victims and families, holding offenders accountable and prevent further homicide. And whereas Bay County hopes to improve safety and outcomes for families exposed to domestic violence by having law enforcement change the way it responds to domestic violence, calls for using lethality assessments in all domestic violence cases. And whereas the mission of Family Court Awareness Month is to promote judicial education that would include training on domestic violence, child abuse, childhood trauma, coercive control, and post-separation abuse for all professionals, included in family court cases. And whereas Family Court Awareness Month recognizes the need to incorporate evidence-based research into the court's decision. This includes adverse childhood experiences study. This research highlights long-term effects of exposure to abuse in childhood and emphasizes the need for research-informed and impartial decision-making to protect children's well-being. And whereas Family Court Awareness Month aims to encourage collaboration amongst legislators, advocates, professionals, and community to improve family court practices, ensuring they are guided by evidence-based research and prioritize the safety and best interest of children. Now, therefore, I, Christopher R. Gerard, Mayor of the City of Bay City, do proclaim November 2025 also as Family Court Awareness Month. And then we now have a presentation regarding station number 5. I'll turn it over to City Manager.
We're going to have the fire chief come up and introduce along. Is the public safety director coming up too? Oh, you're doing the computer work, okay.
All right, good evening. Can you hear me? Is that on? It is on. Can you hear me now? All right, there we go. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we'll be hearing from Daniel Redstone of Redstone Architects, who will be presenting information regarding Fire Station number 5. This presentation stems from a resolution made by this commission to evaluate and determine the best options for Station 5 moving forward. We fully support this review process and appreciate the thorough work being done to guide these decisions. However, it is important to note, Fire Station 2 still remains the highest priority for the Department of Public Safety. The building constructed in 1956 faces significant challenges, significant PFAS contamination throughout the building and property, deteriorating structural conditions, crumbling walls, water leaks, and non-compliance with current standards. So as we hear the presentation from Station 5, it is important to note it's not our only issue that we're currently dealing with. So with that context, please join me in welcoming Daniel Redstone.
I'm just testing. You can hear me okay? Good. Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here tonight and to have been able to work with your Public Safety Department, Director Powell, Deputy Director Shank, and Chief Karate. And next. Okay. I'm Daniel Redstone with Redstone Architects, and I've listed our team that utilized in the preparation of the study, structural engineering, mechanical, electrical, runtime analysis, and O'Brien Construction for cost estimating. The goals and objectives are briefly, we were engaged to do the building condition analysis for Station 5 and determine the space needs for Station 5 as well, identify the cost options, develop a long-range strategy, and provide you with recommendations. This is the existing site on Smith Street. Just for those of you who don't remember what it looks like, it's been a long time, but there it is. The building itself was constructed in 1965 with a 1980s addition, about 4,900 square feet. The renovation of the station really, to support a firefighting staff today and for future operations, requires system renovation and expansion and assembly, as well as more space. The interior of the building really needs to be fully demolished to accommodate the space needs and the operational workflows.
I'm so sorry. I'm having trouble hearing you. Our mics are not very good. You do need to speak directly into the mic the whole time.
Okay, so, all right. Well, here we go. Generally, it's in poor condition to critical condition. Structural components are not good. Interior organization doesn't meet NFPA standards for protection of firefighters, hot, warm, and cold zones, and so on. And many of the spaces, the whole building is really non-compliant with energy, ADA, and building codes. Structurally, much of the same. The apparatus bay really requires extensive repairs, and really the masonry off the apparatus bay, the masonry is peeling off. The mechanical electrical systems are also in really bad condition. Our electrical engineer, she did not want to turn the switch on because she was afraid she would cause a fire due to the limited capacity of the switchgear as well as the condition of all of the equipment. Mechanically, it's the same, similar situation. So, in terms of building condition, it really requires a comprehensive redesign and modernization to ensure all of the code compliances, the safety for the firefighters, and so on. This is a summary of the space needs assessment, which we did. The full assessment is in your report. Basically, we've assumed, identified almost 8,200 square feet of space if we were to replace this building as a new facility and accommodate the required spaces. And that includes even increasing the apparatus bay. You just can't do the living quarters and the sleeping quarters and leave the apparatus bay the way it is. You just can't do it. So I just wanted to point that out, that you have the specifics in the report, but we're short about 3,000 square feet for a station if it were to be designed from scratch today to accommodate a going forward 21st century fire station. We've identified cost options. If we were just to throw 5,000 square feet of renovation in, it's about $350 a square foot. It does not include the space needs assessment requirements for a fire station. So option 2 was really renovate and expand the station. That's about 8,000 square feet and would require about $3.4 million. And then the third option is a new build, take the old building down. It's about a little more expensive, but still it's in the, instead of 3.3, it's 4 to 4.5. So it's maybe $1 million more, but it's what we think is maybe the best solution. Part of our situation was how do we tell you what those options are for Station 5 without doing a runtime analysis? So we commissioned Beckett and Rader to do a runtime analysis to give us some response time options. And the NFPA requirement is that 4-minute response time, 90% of the incidents, and to meet the NFPA guidelines. Statistically, the department is getting about 5,000 calls a year. Over the last 5 years, 60% of those calls were for rescue and emergency medical. It's from the 24 annual report. It was noted that in 2023 there were 24 structure fires, and in 2024 there were 13. So I think it was 23 or 24 down to 13, but still a very small percentage of the 5,500 calls. Excuse me. So if we were to look at the scenario based on the runtime analysis, and Fire Station 5 remains location, whether it's a renovation expansion or a new build, the runtime scenario shows that I think over 90% of the calls meet that 4-minute minimum. And let me just get to that. I have to put my glasses on. So that's 98% of the time with fire station location remaining, we're within that 4-minute minimum for all calls. If we were to close Station 5 and operate out of Station 4, the structure fires would drop to 88.5, slightly below that 90% requirement, but the other calls would be at 93%. So if you look at the comparison of the two options, 4 minutes on the would be 98%, and the second option would be 93.2. So both options, whether you keep Station 5 or you close Station 5 and just keep Station 4 on the north side, would still give you that 93.2% of a 4-minute response time, which is pretty good in terms of your ISO rating. The ISO rating, fire operations are 50% of the rating, of which the runtime is about 10%. So it's a very small, impact on the ISO insurance rating. This is just a summary of the analysis that I put together. Basically, renovate and expand is A, and keep Station 5 closed, and renovate and expand Station 4 to accommodate the increased traffic. All calls would be 98 to 93. The structure fires, again, 98 to 88.5. But it's a pretty, if you look at it, it's pretty consistent that if Station 5 closed, you'd still meet those, for the most part, meet that NFPA requirement for a 4-minute response time. So, our recommendation is do not renovate Station 5. Costs are almost the same as the new construction. Response times are without the station are close to the NFPA requirements. ISA rating will remain at least 3. The existing site, we haven't really talked about it, but it's on a park. It's a park site. It's a tight site, and it's really not large enough unless you took part of the park to expand it to accommodate the space needs required. And if you did close it, you'd be able to expand the park. And I urge you to at least explore the option of renovating and expanding Station 4. I know there's a piece of property behind that station that was the city sold years ago that's still vacant, that might still be available. The cost for renovating that station would be probably similar to what you'd put into Station 5. And it would have a 21st century station on the north side of the river. So that is what I'm recommending and what Redstone Architects is recommending for your consideration, that I know you have a lot of issues with the public safety in terms of stations, old stations, and staffing and other things, but this would be our recommendation. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Redstone. So Commissioner Coakley?
So would you consider yourself an expert on this?
On fire station design,
Absolutely.
the word expert has a legal implication. Yes, I'm very knowledgeable, and I'm confident in what we're saying.
Yep. And your recommendation to this commission is to not try to reopen it at this time?
All things considered, I do believe that it should not be reopened.
Did we take a look at Station 2 at all with this, or were you just focused on 5 and the possibility of
I
4?
was just focusing on 5, but I did get a tour of 4 and 2. And 2 has a lot of issues. And I think the chief just talked about them as he introduced me. So yes, that probably is another station that is worth considering. I think it's going to be very difficult to renovate that and get you that full compliant 21st century station. I think 4 has the better option, just the way it's laid out now with the apparatus bay and the sleep rooms. I think it could be reconfigured to bring in the hot, warm, cold zone to protect firefighters from carcinogens and so on.
And the cost that you did show this commission, that did not include firefighters, what it would take to man the station and equip it?
This is all hard construction costs and soft costs for equipment, fees, and so on. It has nothing to do with staffing, attracting officers and firefighters, and no, it does not.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kubit?
Yes, I appreciate the charts. I'm a visual learner, and I think that's very helpful. In developing them, did you consider at all the mutual aid response times to our 9th ward?
The data, the runtime analysis was based on data provided by the department, which the department collects. I don't know if it included runtimes to other municipalities outside the city limits.
I meant the opposite direction, but I can ask that question to them later. I understand. You mentioned at one point that your electrical engineer didn't even test the electrical system for fear of starting a fire.
She was very afraid of it, and it's minimal. It was just, it's in the report how bad it was, and all the equipment and so on. It was typical of most of the equipment in the entire building, both mechanical and electrical.
But just that turning it on wasn't necessary to thoroughly and fully give her opinion regarding the electrical system.
It was not, apparently it was not, no.
All set, Commissioner? Okay. Commissioner Morris?
Question. If to renovate Station 5 is similar to the cost of renovating Station 4, but on paper it shows me that if we did renovate Station 5, we would still keep our run times above 90%. Why still renovate Station 4 and lower our run times? I need to get a better, you could
Okay.
better explain it to me so I can understand.
Well, the whole goal is to try to get your response time to 4 minutes out the door to the incident scene. And the Station 5 open shows obviously the 98 all the way through. Station option B, which was to close 5 and renovate and expand 4 with the additional equipment necessary, still keeps you well above the 90% required or recommended by NFPA, and it puts you covers the whole north side of the river with a modern station, and you're very close to that. I mean, you're over the 90% except for slightly under on the structure fire. But the rest of it is still well above the 4-minute requirement.
Another question. So we would be below 90% for structure fires when it comes to response time. And I'm not sure, the question I'm gonna ask, I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer, maybe someone else here can, if you cannot. Let's say there is a structure fire, and let's say that we did not get there on time. Let's say people died because of the structure fire, and we knowingly kept Station 5 closed, knowing that we are below the NFPA standards. Could we face, or could the city face some legal action because of that? And if you don't know the answer, that's fine, but I'm hoping someone could talk to me about possibly like legal issues, knowing that if we were to do this.
That's outside my purview. I'm not an attorney. Maybe.
I understand. Thank you.
So this NFPA standard that's referenced is NFPA 1710. So not only does it deal with runtime analysis, it also deals with staffing. And so we currently meet NFPA 1710 to the 25% level. So we're meeting this standard in 1710 93% of the time in that area. So when we look at the difference, 1710 is a big standard. So when we look at that, does that answer your question, or do you want to follow that up?
No, it doesn't. Maybe it could be answered in the future by someone from our legal team or from our lawyer that we have, because I'm worried about if we were to keep Station 5 closed and something were to happen, they can say, oh, well, whoever was involved could say, well, we were below 90% of the NFPA standards and it was a structure fire, and you knowingly knew that you were below 90%, which is not recommended as what it looks like from what I'm seeing on the graph here. So it's more or less if the city could be sued because if something were to happen because a structure fire, well, because we kept Station 5 closed and we were under the 90%, and something bad happened.
So in terms of litigation, clearly I can't speak to the litigation. What I can speak to is these are very impressive response times. I think that's the one thing we're not talking about. When you look at the decline in staffing over the years in this department, we haven't reduced any of the services we're providing to the city. And these numbers, there are communities out there that would do anything to have response times that you see on this screen right now. These are fantastic response times, which correlate with that ISO of 3 that we have. So our insurance rating in the city is very good. Would we love to be able to have them all opened as a chief? Absolutely. Would I love to not have to worry about that? It'd be fantastic.
Thank you.
Also, Commissioner?
No. Through the chair to the city manager, is it possible to have someone from our legal team answer that question for us? Is that possible for the next meeting or an email or something when it comes to liability, potential liability?
Yeah, if the rest of the commission is in.
Is there any objection to have a legal opinion? I don't see one.
I'm all set for now, thank you.
All right. All right, I have Commissioner Charlebois.
Yes, I'd like to point out that there's almost a 10% difference in response time with 5 closed. I'm rounding off, it's not exact, but it's close. Also, I don't know where you come from, but to build new is almost $2 million more than to repair. $2 million is a lot of money around here. And I get, we all want shiny new, but that's hard to do around here. I would like to point out also, personal experience, I was coming to a meeting here. We were picking out a new commissioner. We've had a lot of turnover. And I live on the west side. I'm about 10 minutes away, max. I came up to the bridge. I have to cross the bridge to get to City Hall. I waited for a boat. I had to make a 5:30 meeting. It took me 40 minutes to get to City Hall. I was 5 minutes late. And you got a river running through this town. I know this isn't on you, but it's a big deal. I have another personal experience where fire equipment from the east side was waiting to get to the house next door to my house that was burning, and they were sitting on the bridge waiting. Probably an aerial truck, I don't know. And the other thing is Bangor Township backs us up. And what if they have a fire in Bangor Township? The bridges are open. Who's backing up the northwest side of Bay City with that station closed? And this has come up over and over and over again. And it matters. And nobody on this earth can tell me ever that 4 points on a map in this city with personnel and equipment, there's going to be less response, or that response time is not going to be matched. And you can mess with the figures a little bit. I don't care what anybody says. That's BS. So as we sit here, I don't want to go here, but I'm going to. One thing is I want to mention is, why are the buildings so dilapidated? Why were they let go like this? Now, our main station downtown, in the last little while, we got a new roof put on there. That's good. I'm glad. There is an air pump there that I was informed fills the tanks on our firefighters' backs when they go in a building. That air was down for most of a year. And our guys are going to Bangor Township to fill those tanks. Now, that's pretty bad. Now, this isn't on you, sir. I know you're the architect, but I got to get some of this stuff off of my chest. And especially the $2 million to build a new building. $2 million, that's a lot of money. You could put that in Station, what's the one on the south end?
Station 2.
Station 2. You could put that $2 million into that, up to and including, I'm a little skeptical. I know it's contaminated, but unless our firefighters go out there and eat the dirt, I don't think they're at that much risk. PFAS is terrible in water. We don't have wells out there. We have a closed water system. But if that's the case, why don't we put a fence around it and start mediating this contamination? I have a buddy who lives out on the middle grounds. He has a house out there. Well, this has to do with Dow Chemical and their contamination. They got sued. Well, he had like 3 feet of soil removed from his yard and new soil put back, and this is all a deal that Dow Chemical had to do. They're working their way down the river towards the mouth. So instead of hiding our head in the sand about the PFAS contamination, why don't we start dealing with it? Put a fence around, let's get started on it. I don't have much more. It pisses me off that the buildings were let go like this. It's terrible. When I found out our guys got to go to Bangor Township to fill their air tanks, by the way, we did get that air system, but it was down for the better part of a year, if I got the right information. I think I got a good source on that. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner DeWitt.
Move that a little bit closer. My question for the architectural side of it is, whose decision was it to put a 50-person conference room plus a closed conference room plus all of the fire administration from Station 1 move to Station 5 and have a 3-apparatus bay? Like, was that your firm's decision, or was that on the request of this city fire?
What page are you on?
Page 96, the new building layout. Because my problem is that Station 5 is currently built essentially as a support station. It's small. It's not holding all the full-size equipment. And I think in a right-size situation, which I would be willing to discuss further, this could stay a 2-bay. It doesn't need a 50-person conference room. It doesn't need a board. It doesn't need the fire chief to move across the river.
96?
Yep.
That's an example of a station in Cascade Township. Okay, it's just to show hot, warm, and cold zone transition to protect the safety and the health of the firefighters, so that when they leave the hot zone of the apparatus bay, they can shower, decon before they go into the clean spaces where they live and work. So this is just an example of, it says cold, warm, and hot. It is not a design for this station.
Okay, that makes me feel better, because all I can see is a Fire Station 1, but that doesn't just mean it can be Plan 1 and a floor plan. I can't read anything else on that list. But I was concerned that we were going to put in, at the lowest per square foot effectiveness of $1.3 million extra dollars into a station that wouldn't be able to fit it, nor make sense to move our operations.
I appreciate your looking. If you look below our logo on that sheet, you'll see Progressive Associates. I was a consultant to Progressive Associates out of Grand Rapids for the Cascade Township study. So this is, again, an example of what we did for them, but it's to show this transition zone. We just had a proclamation for lung cancer. Firefighters who are exposed to carcinogens have a higher chance, probability of getting lung cancer. And so this hot, warm, and cold is a trend that started 10 years ago. Every new fire station or renovation, we're doing 2 in Auburn Hills now, renovating. We are including this warm zone transition as part of that design because we have to protect the firefighters.
Okay, that part I'm not debating the efficacy of. I'm just concerned that we were looking at putting a 3-bay in a spot that didn't need a 3-bay based off of the current needs and everything. As for, I grew up 3 blocks from Station 2. I had to go through IVF to have kids likely because of PFAS contamination in my neighborhood growing up, because I went to school next door at McGregor. So like that station means a lot to me to get fixed or replaced or slightly moved to a better location. But I know that up in the Station 5 in the 9th Ward, once you cross Marquette over to the industrial park, things can get touchy if something goes wrong over there because it's way out of the way from either ours or Bangor's area. Even though it doesn't seem as like that far, that break at Marquette that turns into Wilder or Truman Parkway that turns into Wilder is a large break for getting equipment across the way. And I mean, on the heat map that showed the response times, and we're looking at the 6 minutes there, and I understand staffing's an issue, but I'm also thinking that the department as a whole, and again, is willing to discuss it with those powers that are not your firm, but others in the room, of right-sizing the department to possibly have supplemental stations and on each side of the river and a main station to help response times make sense, help costs make at least a semblance of reasonability, and possibly have it so that we can have equipment and a turnover cycle for that makes sense for our city. Thank you.
All right, I'm taking new speakers first, and then Commissioner Zanotti. Yep, go ahead, yep.
I'm kind of new on the commission, okay? The one thing I know is I think probably about 10 minutes after I got sworn in, I started getting calls on the Smith Street station. Just a couple things that just go back a little in history. We used to have 2 stations on the east side, and we had 3 stations on the west side. One by Winona and Salzburg, I believe. You had one on Lynn Street, right behind Midland. I don't know, John or one of those names was set right on the corner. And then you had the one in the Banks. And then when they built the one over on, is that Dean Street, I believe? Dean? When they built the one on Dean, we sold the one on Salzburg, and the whole purpose of that, and then we ripped down the one on Lynn Street because, you know, pretty much we told everybody that was in the middle and that would cover the west side. So we kind of got to remember a little bit what we did in the past that got it to this point. I appreciate your presentation. The only thing I don't know, we pretty much hired you to evaluate the building on Smith Street. You know, to remodel it or not remodel it and all that. But then you talk about we should put the money in Station 4 and even know where the property is. Either way we do this or don't do it, it's going to cost us money, okay? Which we don't know where the money is going to come from. The other thing is if we do open another station, we have to come up with money for manpower. I'm a firm believer that we're short of firemen and we're short of policemen, okay? And I just think that we have to look at this thing, that the whole picture. And then before you give a presentation, and no offense, Chief, but you kind of bring something up that Station 2 is worse than the station they want $4 million to fix up. It makes me kind of nervous that shouldn't our mission to be to look at public safety in the whole city and what's the best thing we can get. I don't know if the answer is one station or two on the west side. I would think two would always be better than one, but I don't know that because I don't think we have that information. But I think that's the discussion that we need to have, is what's the plan for the whole city? Because what good's it do us to fix up Station 4 or 5, whatever it is, and then find out we have to close Station 2 because it's got major problems? I mean, I think we have to look at the whole picture. We have to, you guys, I only been here 2 months, but the bottom line is we have to public safety millage. I mean, we can be talking about stations and we can make you guys rich because you can go check
Okay, I
every
don't
station.
get it.
I know we won't make you rich. You know what I'm saying, though. We need to do something that looks at the whole picture. And we cut, I think, you don't go back that many years, and I think we had 100 firefighters. I mean, it was a huge department. And I can remember discussions when they wanted to cut the fire department down to 80. And you would have thought the whole city was falling apart at that time. And I'm very leery that we just focus on Smith Street and we don't take time to figure out how we study the whole thing. That's all.
All right, thank you. Comment?
I do have a comment. You have to start somewhere, and I think this assessment of Station 5 may be the beginning of the broader discussion of how you provide fire services for the entire city. And again, in looking at 2 and looking at 4, there are options, and the chief talks about staffing. So structural construction costs are just one component of a long-range strategic plan. I think this is a good beginning for you to use as a basis to start developing a capital improvement program, to look at an operational, long-term operational program for staffing, and develop that program that you're looking for, where you can develop a consensus and do what you need to do as a city.
Thank you. Good comments. Just before we go further, because I want to bring up, because we do, Commissioner Zadi's right, we need to look as the big picture. What's the big picture as the whole of the community? We do have a public safety infrastructure meeting scheduled for 17th of November. So I know there's some commissioners that are on that, looking forward to have that discussion and dialogue. There's been a lot said. Why did things get neglected? We don't always look back in history what happened. 2008, 2009, property taxes fell off a cliff in Michigan. Your revenue into the community gets significantly cut, millions of dollars. At the same time, the state cut significant dollars. And so I wasn't on the commission during that time, but I did a little homework, and the reality is, instead of cutting personnel, they cut building expenses. They tried to Band-Aid things, and that's just what happened to keep people on. I mean, we have, I don't know how many people we still have with the city. We have quite a few people that were around at the time, but a lot less than we used to. But they lived through that, and they made significant cuts. There were multiple cuts personnel-wise on what they made concession-wise, just to keep around because they believed in the community. So we have to look at the whole picture, not just here and now, where we were and why these decisions were made. It wasn't made because they wanted to. It was made because of necessity to provide the best service they could with the resources we had coming in. We're just only now, the last couple of years, getting the amount of revenue from property taxes that we had from 2008, 2009. That's a pretty big gap to get back to where we were. So I just want people to keep that in mind. It's not, I don't think anybody purposely wanted to neglect things. It's just these are decisions had to be made, and I think they believed in personnel over infrastructure. Now, that being said, we have to make some decisions, and without additional revenue resources, I don't know how we do some of this, because we do know that Station 2 has a huge volume of calls, right? Largest in the community, so we have to do something with Station 2. I also believe we need to make sure the west side is covered properly. And I do want to make sure that we address some of the concerns. They've been doing a very good job. I think our department, our fire department, public safety has done a commendable job, and I don't think they get enough credit for what the resources and the amount of personnel that we have now. I mean, they would kill for having the amount of people they had a decade ago, and we just don't have it, right? So we need to give them a kudos and a big round of applause right now. Let's do that first of all, for their efforts. We need to pass that along to everybody. Working in Station 2, we have a couple firefighters that go in there. They know there's contamination. They go in because they care about the community. So I want to keep that in mind when we make these decisions. So Commissioner Coakley had some comments.
A couple things. 88.5, what would we have to do to possibly get that up any higher, and how many actual calls is that?
Well, structure fires, as I said, in 2024, you had, I think, 13 structure fires out of 5,300, and in 2023, you were 23 structure fires. So it's a very, very small percentage.
I know that's a small percentage, but it's still a big number to those who are involved with
Someone's
that.
going to come and correct me here.
Listening to the conversation, just to clarify a couple things, this does not include mutual aid from Bangor Township, their response time. And when we talk about the NFPA, I think it's 1710, the standard he's talking about with response times, that's also get there in 4 minutes or less with 4 firefighters on a truck. Like, even if we meet the 4 minutes or less, it's with one person. We're never going to meet that standard unless, money rains down from heaven on us. That's not likely to happen.
Well, we can only hope.
Right.
How many times has Bangor or mutual aid been denied or unavailable?
Never, that in my memory.
And that's all I need. I mean, that was another question I had on this. Getting to the PFAS on Station 2, it's something that needs to be addressed. Our brave men there are risking their lives with fires and everything else. They don't need to have that also. And if we have to make choices, we have to prioritize what's best for the city. I mean, I want everything. I want a fire station over there too. I really do, but I do believe we need to get 2 taken care of. How many calls do we get out of 2?
Roughly 2,000. 2,400 is.
A year?
Yeah.
That would be devastating for the city if we lost that station.
Correct. Just to clarify too, we have done a lot of remediation there. We've been working with environmental groups. They actually dug up a ton of dirt, disposed of it, retested again, and there was still too much contamination. We applied for a grant from the federal government. They're saying it's still in their budget, if they can ever approve a budget, for us to get roughly $900,000 to clean up that site. So we're not just sitting on our hands waiting for.
No, and I didn't want to insinuate you were. It's just, in my opinion, the faster we get 2 taken care of, the quicker we can react to 5 in that area and anything that's there. Just as a city in a whole, we cannot afford to lose 2. We need to get that taken care of. It's just, and any commissioners that have not taken the time to visit it, I would highly recommend that you do go visit that station. And you'll see the structure inside and what's going on there. That's, like I said, that's just, we got to do one thing at a time. We got to prioritize. We got to look out what's best for the city as a whole. And that's how I'm going to fight on this.
All set, Commissioner? All set? I think so. Commissioner Charlevoix. Okay, Commissioner Kubit?
Yeah, can you talk a little bit more about generally modernizing structures? I'm looking at page 67 of 108 in the report where you're talking about a space needs assessment, and you've got the current area of Station 5, which is a little over 5,000 I think, square feet, and the estimated area required is about 8,000. And it really breaks it down, and it seems to have some very good reasons for that. And if you could just speak a little bit more about generally modernizing, and let me kind of finish my thought about where I'm going with this. So the chart that we had looked at earlier, where you're talking about the transition zones, this is technology that I didn't even know we needed, so I didn't know that we needed to spend a bunch of money on Station 4 as well. But I guess if we're doing a deep dive into what modernizing fire stations really means and what that looks like, if you could just sort of speak briefly about generally some of the modernization stuff that we should be thinking about as we look for a long-term plan.
Well, first of all, there's the size of the apparatus bay, SCBA cascade rooms, station compressor.
Can you make sure you're talking in the mic?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Is the light on?
The light's on. Can you hear me? Okay. The warm zone, which is is turnout gear, a washing area, laundry storage, where again a firefighter can come in, derobe. He's taken his turnout gear off already, and he's coming in and he's going to shower and then go into the living quarter. So that requires a shower or two, depending on the staffing of the station. It requires EMS supply. It requires laundry, small stackable laundry, washer dryer, place to hang robes and so on. You need a turnout gear room so that you can go get your turnout gear, that it's not contaminated in the apparatus bay. You have EMS supply storage, again, in a warm zone so it's not contaminated. We are using, and most stations today have an exercise room for the firefighters. We have one very small in here, 300 square feet, but it's enough for a firefighter to go in and use a treadmill or something. We have individual sleep rooms so that we have 2 sleep rooms for the 2 firefighters on duty per shift, times 3 shifts. All of these things, a day room where they can relax, a small kitchen, a dining area. So, I mean, all of these things are from pages, I think, 81. You can read them all. Public zone, we have very little in the public area. I mean, we have a small lobby vestibule, and that's it. We're not really planning, we didn't plan for the public to come into that station. So it's all about operations, and all of these space needs we went over with the department and identified what the needs were. This is not a wish list. This is really what is needed for an operational station. Station 2 is a bigger station, covers more area, has more staffing. These numbers would go up. Station 4 might shift, add a bay or 2. I think we talked about adding 1 bay. I can't quite remember, but that's, in the future, we'd have to discuss exactly what would go there, and then how much staffing would be, and where we would put the transition zone, which I said before in my presentation. The way it's laid out now, I think it'd be very easy to put in that transition zone between the apparatus bay and the living quarters. But those are 2 analyses that have not been done. So, and I agree that I think you've got this big picture. Station 2 with almost 40% of the calls really is an important station that needs to be looked at. And 4 with, and again, I don't know what the number of calls total were on the west side, but 1,700, so that's a third of the 50-odd hundred calls. So those 2 stations are, 33 and 40, it's 75% of the calls are would be those 2 stations. So I agree. I think you need to look at the big picture and come up with a long-range plan to how to implement.
I appreciate
be a
you
part of
helping
it.
us get some numbers to some of these options and to give your detailed report. Thank you for it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Redstone. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming tonight. Yep, thank you. All right, next order of business. Oh, go ahead, yep.
I just want to mention to everybody, so we do have an approved, in our resolution, a timeline going forward. Obviously, tonight you're not making a decision, so our timeline is going to have to be adjusted. I'm assuming you probably want something on the next agenda, but I feel like we need to wait till we have our infrastructure committee meeting, and then we'll put something on after that, if that's appropriate for everybody. But I just want you to know that the resolution is going, the timeline's going to slide down.
You're very aware of that then? Okay, thank you. All right. Next order of business is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Commissioner Tenney?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second, Commissioner Coakley?
Second.
Do any members of the commission wish to add any item to the agenda? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the agenda?
Commissioner Cubit,
Yes.
Coakley,
Yes.
Tenney,
Yes.
Zanotti,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Rumberg,
Yes.
Charlebois,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Yes.
The agenda has been adopted. Next order of business is the consent agenda. Do any members of the commission wish to make a change to the consent agenda? Seeing none, next order of business calls for public input on the consent agenda. This is the opportunity for citizens to remove an item from the consent for consideration on the regular agenda. If anyone in the audience wishes to make a change, please come to the microphone, print your name on the registration sheet, state your name and address for the record, and the item you wish to have considered for the regular agenda. All right, seeing no one come forward, is there a motion on the consent agenda? Commissioner Morris.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner Runberg.
Second.
All right, will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the consent agenda?
Commissioner Coakley,
Yes.
Tenney,
Yes.
Zanotti,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Rumberg,
Yes.
Charlebois,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Cubit.
Yes.
8 yes.
All right, the consent agenda has been approved. Next order of business calls for public input. Under the rules of the City Commission, each speaker will be allowed 5 minutes to speak. Commissioner Coakley will serve as the timekeeper. This is the opportunity for citizens to address the commission regarding any agenda item or any other matter. If anyone wishes to address the commission, please come forward, print your name on the registration sheet, and state your name and address for the record. We do ask you to be respectful in addressing the mayor and commission. Public input is one-way communication. The mayor and commissioners cannot answer questions at this time. Please meet with them after the meeting if you need further information. All right, seeing no one come forward for public input, next order of business is we have public hearing of remarks of the mayor and commission. Commissioner Coakley.
All right, sorry we got to this a little quicker than I expected. All right, now that we have passed Halloween and the decorations for Halloween, we're going to be moving into the lights and for Christmas and so forth. Just want to ask the city manager through the chair, if someone plans on using the right-of-way, what would they need to do exactly to make it legal?
So they would obviously have to file for an encroachment permit from our engineering department. The city is going to be put something out on Facebook, media, about using the right-of-way, that they will get notices if that happens for Christmas.
Okay, just want to make sure that we are clear on what we need to do to legally use that. Getting back to the truck and the trailer that was parked on 6th Street, it's, the issue's been gone this weekend, which is good. I know they're within the law on what they're doing, but it's something I think we need to look at where you can permanently park something and just move it. I know it's not you, but they're within the law. If we get a fine for a trash can that's been out there a little bit longer, we should be able to figure out something with the parking and that. It's something I want to address in the future, and I want to have a sit down with you to see what we would have to do on that. Just, I mean.
You saw my email back, right? With
No, I
the
didn't.
options? Okay, I just want to make sure.
I did actually about the no parking and that so forth.
Yep.
yeah, when we start taking away parking, that's a little bit sticky.
That's
to
why
us.
I gave
As somebody who's lost the parking on their street, it's more valuable than you think. A lot of food can drives going on, a lot of people needing help, so if anybody can help anything, please do. And that's all I got today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tenney.
Thank you, the chair. Just wanted to wish all of my fellow veterans a happy Veterans Day. It's right around the corner. Also, this may sound a little bit repetitious because I know one of my colleagues addressed this before, as we have third ward applications coming up / interviews. I'd just like to encourage all of my colleagues to give every applicant a number by their name. If you don't rank somebody, that defeats the whole purpose of ranked choice voting. If you don't like them as much as others, rank them lower, right? Every applicant that comes in front of us is indeed qualified. They just have to live in the ward that they're looking to represent, right? Finally, I'd like to thank all of the nonprofits that are stepping up to help those who are in need of food in these times. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner DeWitt.
Yeah, my first one is going to be, I want to thank Public Safety for taking care of an issue I heard from a constituent on 25th Street with they also derelict vehicles in the road. And then looking at the future, we got the report for projects for infrastructure for the $2.5 million were released coming up soon. We're also, you're going to have the Public Infrastructure Subcommittee meet soon so we can get options on the table for that. Doing math with what we got today, with an estimated $4 million replacement cost for one station at the size that they want, that'd be it for $15 million. You could replace 3 stations effectively and have some money left over to either equip them or work around that using the numbers off this one if no other variables are involved. Doing the math on that on the yellow paper here, over a 20-year span, that'd be $23 a person in the city per year, just to kind of put that into perspective. We just saw the report last week, or last meeting of the survey, and the number threshold that got over 50% overall would have been $50 per household. So we're really close to that, at that number, assuming all other things are equal. Then I also want to go off of what Commissioner Tenney from the 4th Ward just said about ranking everyone who shows up. Again, if people put in for an application and they show up and they give their interview, I see no reason to keep them excluded from the points total. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Cubit.
I guess I just, maybe this isn't off the meeting, but when are we going to set the interviews? Is that?
She's going to report on that. Yep. You all set? Okay. Commissioner Shaw.
Yes, I would just like to say I would support a millage, a fire safety millage. I agree with Commissioner on the Zanotti about that. You got to look at it. We have to come up with some real numbers. These are real numbers that we got tonight. They're about $3 million more than the $300,000 we were told originally. It's kind of a hard pill to swallow, and I would go hard at it come the new year. And I would also like to say that we'll be asking our constituents, do you want to raise your taxes for fire safety? We're not raising their taxes, we're giving them the choice. And explain to them that things are in pretty rough shape if they don't know it already. I think they already know it. And one other thing, this food situation, even if the federal government gives the money out that they're supposed to automatically, which they're not, I think it only lasts for about 2 weeks for the month of November. So these food pantries are really important. There's going to be 2 weeks where there's not going to be enough money to run the program. So just for one, United Way on Washington Avenue is accepting food, I believe from between 9 and 3 o'clock every business day. And there's a whole bunch of people doing work. You know, the Salvation Army does work every day. I don't have a list to read to you, but I think people really should dig deep on this one because people are going to fall through the cracks. That's all I have. Thank you.
I think Commissioner Zanatti.
Yeah, just a couple comments. I've been here a couple months now, and I've been meeting with different departments. City managers lined me up. Some very informative meetings. And I just want to, I know you go to these meetings and you talk about problems and you talk about different beliefs and where everybody's coming from, but, of course, when I got on, the first thing, you get the blight calls. And Saturday, some old lady from the south end, I assume she sounds old, I never met her, but she had a problem with the neighbor. She called to thank me. I mean, all I did was call Dana and code enforcement. There was another concern, but two cleaned up, got a call back, appreciative. Got to spend some time in the electrical department, which was more up my alley than sitting on the city commission. Just unbelievable, the facility for an old building and how well it's kept up. I got to go look at the generators. And we have I shouldn't say old, I'm going to get in trouble again. We have a mechanic that works over there. I mean, he looks old, he's got a gray beard. But actually the guy worked on ships and he rebuilt our generators. And I was talking to him, kind of pretending like I knew something about these. And he found a defect in those from when they were built in, was it like the early 80s or something, that the manufacturer choked on, and he found that, and the manufacturer actually supplied the parts to kind of make the thing right and make it just unbelievable the treasurer had. Then the last meeting was with the DPW. And the first thing I said, I think the guy's name's about, the first thing I said to him is, what is the BTW or D, whatever? Well, it's a hash about everything we do in the city, okay? What an organization over there. Nice facility, but you can tell the organization, I go into these new engine plants for Ford and Chrysler, and that's what they're trying to achieve in those plants, and that's what we got. And the last good thing I want to say is over on Winona, either Winona or Henry, that street splits, I get them mixed up. It was raining and these little kids are selling lemonade. I don't know what they're selling, okay? It wasn't drugs, they're just little kids, okay? And, I said I should stop. These kids are doing something, but it was raining. I didn't stop, but I'm looking through the mirror because I kind of felt guilty. You should support somebody trying to. And here I see a cop car, a police car, I'm sorry, stops, and police officer, I would assume he bought some lemonade for the kid. I didn't check it out. But I mean, that those guys are out there engaging in the community. I watched the police Friday nights at the Central game. It's some good stuff we got going on, and I just know if we want to talk about the need for fire stations, we got to remember we got a lot of good stuff going and a lot of great city employees.
Thank you, Commissioners, and any other comments? Commissioner Rundberg.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, again, congratulations to the 1700 block of South Chilson. I believe you were down there as well, Mr. Mayor, checking it out. They had quite a big turnout out there, as was expected. Everything went along safely, and I just want to thank everyone for their patience and their work on both sides that made that happen. And I guess that's all I really have tonight.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Real quickly, so this weekend, I just want to take a moment to honor Cecil John C.J. Lisk. I don't know if anybody's aware of him, but he's a lifelong resident of Bay City. He was a World War II Army Ranger and whose courage and work ethic continue to inspire us. So earlier this year, Army Rangers World War II Army Rangers were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. And CJ was only one of 5 living members of that remarkable group. Unfortunately, he recently passed away, so his family got together in tribute to him at Krizek's House Restaurant. But definitely something really inspirational that he put service above self, and somebody from our community was there in the front lines of that. So definitely an honor to recognize him for his accomplishments. Also, I do want to publicly thank. Last week, I was on a phone call with folks from United Way and the Bay Area Community Foundation talking about what kind of effort organized that we were going to do as a community to come together to support those that were going to be impacted by the cuts to SNAP. And so really kudos to those groups. We all came together, pulled in multiple agencies, and we shot some videos and to raise some awareness. We wanted a streamlined process, so as Commissioner Charlevoix has commented, so United Way is taking food drop-offs, and then to centralize donations. If you make it to the Bay Area Community Foundation, they have links. There's lots of information out there. It is kind of a fluid situation because there's been reports that a judge has ruled that SNAP benefits were needing to be allowed. So there's the debate on whether or not that'll happen and how much. So with that being unknown, I have to say we have a really great community. There's lots of donations going through. I know Commissioner Tenney put out a notice for this group, and there's collections made. And I know that Arkabay County, specifically people with disabilities who aren't working, right? They need these kind of assistance to help feed themselves. And so there's a collection that the commission did, and so thank you, Commissioner Tenney, for organizing that. We'll get it to the Arkabay County. But again, look for social media, look for the websites of the United Way and the Bay Area Community Foundation, and they'll steer you to different pantries if you do need assistance in the community, and if you're looking to donate, Bay Area Community Foundation or the United Way for actual perishable goods. So that's all I have. City Manager. One last thing. I did attend, and she's going to mention somebody got honored today, but I was at the Bay County Prevention Network, and a number that kind of struck me is over the last few years, we've been putting Narcan kits out in the community. And I know it has a negative stigma, but I tell you what, it saves lives. And so 5,000 Narcan kits were distributed in our community this last year. The first year there was like 700. So, and those things save lives. So we got to end the stigma around those kind of things. So if you see it out there, if somebody's experienced substance use disorder, we need to find ways to get them connected to resources. So one of the things that really impressed me also is the youth prevention initiative. So, and I know we've had Katie Ball here before talking from that group. And so the more we can do to help encourage youth and prevention of those kind of things, the better we are as a community. So that's all I have.
Just to start off, I really do appreciate the comments by Commissioner Zanotti about our employees. It's pretty important for our employees to hear those comments. And along with that, we did go to the Bay County Prevention Network annual celebration today, and one of our employees did receive an award. It was for an Unsung Hero Award, and they wrote up a quick little thing. This individual has helped in more ways than you could imagine. The Unsung Hero Award is for an individual whose selfless, behind-the-scenes contributions have helped in a number of projects that they might not even be aware of. They never focus on their own personal success or attention, but they are always ready to help. This person serves our coalition every month, even without being able to attend a meeting. Additionally, this person is always willing to help with data and give their valuable insight. So I would like everybody to applaud that our Director of Public Safety, Caleb Brello, received this award today, and it was a total surprise to him. All right, so moving on, I just wanted to remind our residents that brush collection is free for the month of November. We obviously started November 1st. We begin on the city's east side, and we work from the south to the north and make it over to the west side, and we only pass by residents one time. Third ward applications, we have the 8 applications. We are going to schedule that interview for November 24th at 5 p.m. I will send out a calendar invite to all of you as well, so you have it in your calendar. And we'll notify the applicants tomorrow. Let's see, so the, Commissioner DeWitt mentioned this earlier, so the report is due to you by Thursday about the $2.5 million. I will get that out to you by Thursday. And conflict of interest forms were on your desk tonight, so if you could fill those out and get them back to me, that would be appreciated. And then the last item I have is the city of Bay City did team up with United Way and another union group, and we are going to have a food giveaway on Wednesday at the DPW lot, so if you could share that with people. It's at 1645 Marquette. It starts at 10 a.m. To do the giveaway, and the last giveaway we did, we were out by noon, but I suspect this time we'll probably be out sooner.
All right, all set. Thank you very much. All right, moving on, we actually have 3 public hearings this evening. So next order of business calls for those public hearings. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the commission regarding public hearing number 1, which is application for a 6-year extension of the obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate for Red Hawk Opportunities LLC located at 300 Center Avenue, the amount of $128,728. And number 2 is the application for a 6-year extension for the obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate for Red Hawk Ventures LLC located at 308 Center Avenue, the amount of $123,408. And number 3 is a dangerous building for 2006th Street. So, under the rules of the commission, City Commission, each speaker will be allowed 5 minutes to speak. Commissioner Coakley will serve as the timekeeper. Is there a motion to allow for public hearings number 1, 2, and 3? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to allow for public hearings 1 through 3.
All right, is there a second? Commissioner Rundberg.
Second.
All right, thank you. If anyone wishes to address the commission regarding public hearing item number 1, please come forward to sign the registration sheet and state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing no one come forward for number 1, if anyone wishes to address the commission regarding public hearing item number 2, please come forward, sign the registration sheet, and state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing no one come forward, if anyone wishes to address the commission regarding public hearing item number 3, please come forward, sign the registration sheet, and state your name and address for the record. Yep, right here, yep.
Where do I sign my name?
Yeah, there should be a sheet there, and you sign your name and address. No, there's not.
Maybe down here.
Well, hold on. Oh, did it get put down? Okay, yep, perfect. Yep.
My name is Brian Ancosti, and I'm just, I own 2006th Street, and just wanted to come to the meeting today. We have started fixing the place. We have the foundation started. It's all boarded up. It's gated off, and hopefully it'll be done by the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure what else I'm supposed to really.
Yeah, anything you want to say, it's your 5 minutes.
I guess that's all I wanted to say. Just let everybody know we are continuing to get it cleaned up and fixed and in orderly conduct, and so it's not going to be a dangerous building. And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else like to come forward for public hearing number 3? Please come forward. Okay, seeing no one else come forward, we're into special orders. Will the clerk please read the next item on the agenda?
Special Order 1, Commission as a Whole Resolution approving 6-year extension for the obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate for Red Hawk Opportunities LLC, located at 300 Center Avenue, in the amount of $128,728. Recommendation approved.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner Coakley.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner DeWitt.
So this counts for both of them because they're both linked together. These property addresses both have active businesses in them and operating at what looks like full capacity at least, because there's MDL, there's Bridge Partners, and there's a Realtor in there too. On the other side, you have the game shop and a convenience/smoke store. For when there's that many businesses active, is it really an obsolete building anymore?
I'm going to have Sarah come up, please.
So technically, no. However, this is one of our last, back when one of our previous city managers wanted us to do what we called the 6 and 6. So instead of giving them the full 12 years, we would give them a 6-year abatement. If they completed their project, they would be allowed to apply for the additional 6 years. So a lot of these folks, when they do their pro formas and they decide how much they're going to spend, they base it on that 12-year abatement. So they're just simply asking for the additional 6 that they are allotted per the statute. So even though there are active businesses in there, at the time when they applied, our policy was only to do the 6, but to allow them to apply for the additional 6 as long as they completed their project, which they have.
Okay. When I was reading through it, I didn't really see that justification in there, so thank you for
I
that.
apologize.
All right, any other discussion? All right, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to approve?
Commissioner Tenney.
Yes.
Zanotti.
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
Rumberg.
Yes.
Charlebois.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Cubit.
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
8 yes.
Motion's been approved. Will the clerk please read the next item on the agenda?
Special Order 2, Commission as a whole resolution approving 6-year extension of the obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate for Red Hawk Ventures LLC located at 308 Center Avenue in the amount of $123,408. Recommendation approved.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Zanotti. Is there a second? Commissioner DeWitt.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to approve?
Commissioner Zanotti.
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
Rumberg.
Yes.
Charlebois.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Cubit.
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
8 yes.
Motion's been approved. Will the clerk please read the next item on the agenda?
Special Order Number 3, Commission as a whole resolution to approve the order of the Dangerous Building Hearing Officer regarding 2006th Street. Recommendation approved.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Coakley.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner Tenney.
Second.
All right. Will the clerk, discussion. Yep, Commissioner DeWitt.
So as the person who's saying their property owner, because I didn't remember the name of the property owner when I looked it up earlier, if they're doing work on it and it's 2 weeks, are we able to delay this for the next city meeting to determine if the work is actually being completed on schedule, or is this past that point on that schedule?
So if you see in the cover rec, it does say that they issued the permit on September 11th, but no work has been started per the dangerous building ordered. I'm going to have Sue Coggin come up because she deals with these, so she can let you know what has been done since that permit, if anything.
The work has commenced. However, they met, when you look at the order by the Dangerous Building Hearing Officer, there were certain deadlines that had to be made. He missed every one of those deadlines. So the work did not start until we sent out a notice stating that this was now going to be scheduled for the final process of the dangerous hearing building. After speaking with both the building official and the deputy building official, they have finally done a footing inspection, but the foundation is only a small piece of what has to be done. So we felt it was pertinent that we continued with the dangerous building process to make sure that this stays on task, because this property has been going through this since, 2014, 2013. And it's just been a detriment to the neighbors. So the goal is to keep it moving. It is moving in the right direction. We want to keep it moving in the right direction.
Okay, that's kind of what I was looking for, Steve, like the timeline you mentioned, 12 years effectively. And if this passes, because obviously we haven't voted on it yet, and they continue to make the work, the end game, they would still be able to, they're still going to be able to keep the property and keep it improved. It's just that we are applying the last bit of pressure to ensure that work's done, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. The goal is to keep it moving. If the resolution is approved, they have 60 days, which still is longer than what the original order was by the hearing officer. And again, we're very, very pleased that it is now started at this point, and we have good faith that it will be completed.
Okay, that's the clarification I was looking for. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Morris?
My question was answered.
All right, Commissioner Coakley? Oh, Coakley?
Just before me, but I'll take it.
Okay. I didn't, sir.
This is near me, and it's been an eyesore for years and years and years. When I was canvassing, every neighbor in the neighborhood brought me over to show me the foundation that was falling in and everything else, not kept up in anything else. I feel we need to pass this to keep the pressure on, because it's, I mean, I go by there a lot just to check on it, because I hear about it often. There were 3 pallets of cinder blocks in the yard, and they were working on the foundation. You could see that. So it was started. This is the first time I've seen anything started. But like I said, I think it's getting started because it's in front of us now. And it's just, it needs to be done. And like I said, if we can get it fixed, we can get it fixed. But we do need to keep the pressure on about it. I mean, 12 years is a long time to take care of something. And I don't know if it's the same owner that entire time. But, yeah, we just, you'd hear about it too if it was in your ward.
All right, Commissioner Kubit.
I appreciate that Mr. Costi is here today, and I appreciate that he has started the work. And I can understand the amount of deadlines that have passed, but I appreciate that effort is happening now. I understand keeping up the momentum, that's good for everybody. And I would make a motion to refer this to staff for 1 more week. I think that having us pass this resolution at the next meeting would help him keep up the momentum. And I would like to see him make some significant progress in that time.
If I can, the resolution states that he has an additional 60 days right now.
Yeah, I understand that.
So motion's made. Is there objection? So Commissioner Coakley.
Yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of deadlines over the time.
Just say
I object.
Okay. So we'll do a I'm sorry. Is there a second then to refer? Commissioner Zanotti? Okay. So Commissioner Coakley, do you still object then?
Yes.
Okay. So we need a roll call vote on whether or not to approve Commissioner Kubit's.
So a yes means you'd like to refer, a no means you do not. Commissioner DeWitt. That you seconded referring it to another meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So is there anybody to second to refer to the next meeting? Okay. Seeing now it actually dies for lack of support. Okay. So we're back to the original question and the discussion. Commissioner Coakley, you had some other comment?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. So we'll vote on the original. Oh, Commissioner Morris?
Can I move to suspend the rules and bring the speaker up who owns this home up to ask him a question? Is that okay?
Yep, we can do that. So is there a second to suspend the rules?
Second.
All right. Is there any objection then to suspend the rules? Seeing no forward, if the speaker's willing to come up, the property owner willing to come up. Commissioner Morris?
Hello. I just have one question, because this is stating that if we pass this today, that you have 60 days to complete everything required. Is 60 days enough?
To complete the outside of the foundation.
Whatever is required so you can keep this and it doesn't become a dangerous building.
Well, we have been, you know, working on it a couple months ago. They just couldn't see from the outside. You would have to go on the inside to see the progress that we started to jack the house completely up to make it safe to tear out the outside of the building. But I guess 60 days to do the complete outside? No. If they want siding, windows, roof, foundation,
How long would you need to complete all that?
4 or 5 months. They just didn't want it a dangerous building. We went in, the windows, they were scared somebody was going to get inside or get in the basement and stay there. We boarded up all the windows, made sure all the doors could not get open, covered the foundation outside, put some fence up and some caution tape so nobody could get through the backyard to make sure nobody would go there, put no trespassing signs up, and then got started with the inside to tear the outside foundation walls. And we can only do it in sections instead of jacking the entire house completely off the ground. So we're doing sections at a time.
I have one more question. Because I was told this has been going on for 10 plus years, have you been the owner for 10 plus years this has been going on?
No, no.
When did
About
you
a year
become
ago.
the owner? A year?
About a year.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Coakley had some questions.
Yeah, thank you for coming up. So when did you first find out about the things you needed to do in that building?
Before I purchased it.
You've known for over a year?
Kinda, yeah.
And you started making the updates how long ago?
Well, the foundation, we have finally gotten started probably about a month ago.
So you started a month ago. Was it due to this being in front of us?
No, I didn't get half the letters. They were sending them all the letters and the things were going to Indiana to somebody
But you knew before you bought it?
that it needed a foundation, yeah.
Okay, so, and you just...
You could visibly see it needed a foundation. I mean, if you drove by.
I've seen the property. I know exactly what it is.
Everybody kind of knew.
Okay. But you've known for a year what you needed to do.
Yep, when we had to get everything done and jacked up and ready to go and commissioned. But yes, correct, yes, yes.
And is 60 days, I'm referring, 60 days enough time, in your opinion? Sorry, Sue.
When the dangerous building hearing was done, let me make a couple clarifications. When the property was purchased, we sent a letter immediately from the city attorney letting the new property owner what issues we had with the property because we had been in a previous court case. When we had the dangerous hearing, it wasn't just the foundations. It was the foundation and the exterior windows had to be replaced. And he stated that he could get the process started. When the process wasn't started based on the dangerous hearing order, we are now continuing with the final completion of the dangerous.
When was the dangerous hearing?
That was back, let me just look at my notes real quick. September 9th of 2025.
And he was present at that?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Okay, and what needs to be done in the 60 days?
The foundation needed to be completed, and the exterior windows need to be completed, not boarded, fixed.
Okay, is that enough time, in your opinion?
We did allow him a little bit more time, especially with the windows. That is the historic district. So we assumed that depending on what he was going to do with the windows, if he applied to the HDC, if it was something that needed HDC approval, the dangerous hearing officer said he could have more time as long as we kept seeing progress. When we didn't see progress is why we are where we are now.
Okay, so that's basically, I just wanted to make sure everybody was doing their due diligence and giving timelines and being fair with everything. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Runberg.
Thank you for being up here, Sue. Question I have, by day, I am a person who sells and installs windows. It's in the historical district, so I know we're gonna be really limited on what types of windows that can be installed in there. And I know if it's going with like an Anderson, for instance, there's about a 10 to 12 week turnaround on special order, and those are almost certainly special order sizes. So if I'm understanding you correctly, if he gets the foundation done, and then we at least get like an order, proof of an order for the windows or something to that effect, we can extend this?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Correct.
Commissioner Tenney?
Just for clarification, worst case scenario, 60 days elapses, the foundation's incomplete. There hasn't been any kind of ordering lined up for windows or a reach out to the HDC, anything like that. What happens then on your guys' end, or our end, I should say, as the city?
If the resolution is passed and 60 days goes by and the work doesn't continue, we don't see progress, we would then have the right to tear down the building at the owner's expense.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner Zanotti?
In 60 days, if the guy's like 80% there, you've got leeway to give him a break for another 30 days. It doesn't have to come back here or anything. Okay.
So our goal is always to continue working with them.
Understand that.
As long as we're seeing progress.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so yeah, so for clarity, if he's making progress, the foundation's in, he started on the windows, because there's no specification of what he gets the windows replaced, is that correct?
And that's the complicated part because it is in the historic district. It may take some time depending on, are they going to be repaired? Are they going to be replaced? Would it have to go before the HDC? So we know that's going to take time.
But if it's glass pane, if he just went to the hardware store and got glass panes, we couldn't really say anything.
No, but there's more damage than that.
There's more damage. Yeah. Okay, would we replace? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? Okay.
Could I ask one more question of the homeowner?
Sure. The rules have been suspended, so.
I heard you say earlier that you didn't think that you could accomplish what was being asked of you in 60 days, but then we heard some additional information giving some clarity about what's being asked for. With that additional clarity, do you think you can make substantial progress to be in substantial compliance with what is being asked?
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so any other questions while the rules have been suspended? Okay, so we need a motion to go back into regular order. So Commissioner Tenney?
Move to go back to regular business.
Is there a second? Commissioner DeWitt?
Second.
All right, any objection? All right, seeing none, we're going back into regular order. So on the table, there's been a motion and support for the original motion. So any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner DeWitt?
Yes.
Rumberg?
Yes.
Charlebois?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Cubit?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Tenney?
Yes.
Zanotti?
Yes.
8 yes.
Motion's been approved. Is there any other business for us tonight? Seeing none, we are adjourned.